Hi, everyone. I'm Doug Jenkins with the Findlay Hancock County Chamber of Commerce. Certainly, it has been an eventful week, and a lot of you looking to do what you're going to do with working from home, what you're going to do with your businesses, and having employees off site. We wanted to start addressing that and giving you some tools just to make sure that you're able to do this effectively and securely. So, with that in mind, today we have Travis Fox, who's with Business and Product Development for Centricom, as well as Kevin O'Shea, who's a sales engineer for Centricom as well. And we're going to talk about working remotely. It's great. Quite frankly, guys, we know there's going to be a lot of that going on right now. Travis, we were talking right before we got started. You're seeing a lot of chatter in this area.
Yeah, with the coronavirus, the emergency that's sort of coming through the entire United States, we're seeing more and more organizations moving to remote workers and trying to protect as many of their employees as possible. So we're getting tons of chatter on that. People reaching out to expand licensing for VPN use and things like that. So we're seeing a lot of that.
Well, let's start right there with the VPN. Certainly, a lot of us have seen advertisements for that online to begin with, whether it be on Facebook, YouTube, or whatever. What do people need to know about setting up a virtual private network at their house, if the case may be?
Yeah, sure. So it's really important to ensure that your internet connections are secure, and the easiest solution to that is to require employees to connect via VPN. It encrypts your traffic as it traverses the internet. As to how to set that up, I'll actually let Kevin jump in. He's our sales engineer, and he's a little more privy to that aspect of it.
Yeah, we offer several different solutions ourselves, but there's many of them that are out in the marketplace. Uh, a couple of them that we offer are Pull Secure, which is a purpose-built either virtual appliance or physical appliance that allows people to connect through and get into the work environment. It's a very popular one. We also through a partner, Palo Alto, who sells firewalls. The firewalls themselves can do the virtual private networking as well. And when you want to increase security with that, they have a Global Protect, either cloud-based client or a subscription for the firewall that will do advanced security checking of devices that are trying to log into the network to ensure not only is the device allowed into the network, but it's safe and secure to get on the network. Patches and is up to date. Antivirus, any malware signatures are at acceptable levels. There also is a product that we support that's totally cloud-based from a company called Zscaler, and their product is called ZPA, and that is a virtual private network that doesn't require any kind of hardware on the customer site, but does require secure tunnels to be built from Zscaler to the customer site, and then a user client on the user device that connects in to that through Zscaler's cloud.
So a lot of technical advice there as far as ease of use, because we know these products work, but if they're not user friendly, then people tend to just forego them. As far as ease of use, are VPNs pretty friendly to use?
They're pretty friendly to use. And a lot of customers also take it a step further and require multi-factor authentication. And that's where you either have a RSA type key that provides a code that when you go to log in, you have to apply that code. It's another layer of security. Or what's very popular is an application on your phone that when you go to log in to the VPN, it pushes a authentication to your phone, or may push a like the RSA type counter key that you have to type in when you go to log in to ensure that it's you, and ensuring that you're who you say you are, and that you actually have authorization to get in. But they're all fairly easy to use.
So Travis, let's get into the nuts and bolts of this. Why is this so important with people working from home? What vulnerabilities are opened up if we're not using these types of options?
Well, it's important to verify who's connecting into your network. So you have the password as the front and center verification, right? But if your password somehow becomes compromised, that's really where the two-factor authentication is important. And there's a number of great software suppliers out there that can help you along those lines. We use Duo. They do a great job, and essentially, it sounds complicated, but it's really not. You punch in your password, and then it pings you basically to enter in a PIN number. You just click on the application and get the PIN, and you can punch it in from there. So that way, if your password does become compromised, they're not able to get into your environment. Bad actors aren't able to get into your environment and compromise you.
Outside of VPN software, what are some other things people should be doing? I know personally, I use we use Outlook here at the chamber. I can get it into that remotely from the Outlook website. Is that a good option for people to use if available to them?
Yeah, Outlook's good, but it's important to train your people. So that's a huge thing. So there's a company called KnowBe4 who does a great job basically providing spoof phishing attempts. So you can send fake phishing attempts to your employees, and if they click on it, then that's an education opportunity, and you can train your employees better. So it's really important to constantly be training your employees. That way, if a bad actor does try to phish your company, that way they can identify it properly and protect your organization by not clicking a compromised link.
Well, and we know that when these types of events in the world transpire, that there are scammers out there looking to take advantage. So due diligence, you need to be suggesting that to all of your employees right now, especially when it comes to email.
Absolutely. And then another thing I would mention is mobile device management software. As your remote employee base grows and continues to grow, especially at a time like this, it's important to have mobile device management, because you start seeing the more people you have working remotely, more often you see, lost devices or stolen devices. And mobile device management software enables you to wipe that device clean and protect your organization from someone obtaining that data that's on that device.
Let's talk a little bit about the speed of getting things like this in place. Certainly, we knew coronavirus could be an issue even a month ago. The speed at which it's starting to shut things down, though, has really quickened. How quickly can a company roll these types of measures out if they haven't already put them in place?
That's a good question. And it really depends on the size, of the organization. But Kevin, do you have, I know that you've probably handled more implementations than I have. Do you have a thought on, in terms of time it takes for implementation?
Well, like a brand new implementation of Pulse Secure's appliances typically takes a little more than a day's worth of work, to set up, configure, and get the devices ready, once they've arrived, and then integrating into the user's, network. The harder part, obviously, most of these, there's a client that's required, and it's getting that client out to it. Now on Pulse's device, there actually is a web URL that the administrator can send a user to. So if they're already working from home, one of the things it wants to try to do is push the client out to the user. So at that point, they can install the client, themselves on their device to allow them to get in. So, can be a couple of days. Obviously, with everything we're seeing with COVID right now, a lot of these manufacturers are swamped with requests, and there's delays in being able to get quotes, from the manufacturers and distributors, and thinking about the lead time to get the equipment in. The nice thing is most of these, solutions either have cloud-based alternatives or they have virtual appliances. So if a company already has a virtual, server environment in their infrastructure, it cuts down on the time because you don't have to wait for that hardware to be shipped in. It's, a virtual appliance image that's downloaded from the company's website. It gets installed into either VMware, Hyper-V, or KVM, and you start it up from there. So that would cut down on some of the time, on the physical hardware side. And then it's just, the ramp up time. You know, One of the manufacturers in Pulse Secure has a very nice option to where, if a customer is already running that solution, but due to what we're experiencing right now, where a lot of these companies have a lot more people working remote than they would normally, they have a licensed solution that they refer to as ICE, or in case of emergency, that you can put in place, and it fully unlocks the full amount of users that device can support plus 10%. So it's a short-term license. It only lasts for 56 days. But in something like this, it would allow a customer at a lower cost than buying licenses for all their users to be able to support all their users working remote. Can be used for something like this, or a snow day in our region. We get those from time to time where people have to work from home because of snow. And the nice thing about the license is it's on a clock. You turn it on when you need it. You turn it off when you don't. So it's not like you turn it on for the 56 days and then you use or lose it. No, it's basically use it when you need it, turn it off, and the next emergency that comes up, it's there, because you'll still have hours left on it.
Well, that would be a really good resource. But going with that mindset that it could take a little while to implement some of these software solutions, let's talk just a little bit about just common sense ways that people can deal with people working from home and making sure that they're being secure, maybe outside of the realm of some of the VPN and things that we've talked about today. Travis, what are some things people should be doing outside of what we've already talked about today?
The main thing that people need to do is follow the cybersecurity policy that the organization has outlined. Make sure that you're adhering to that, and that's really the responsibility of the employee, is to read, especially if they have a work from home policy. That's a great thing if they've developed that, to really read that, follow it, and that way, because the people are always the biggest, I guess, threat to an organization. That's where usually things go wrong. So if they take into consideration, they read the security policy and they follow those guidelines, that's the best way to protect the organization.
All right, well, guys, I appreciate you joining me today. We're going to be doing several videos about ways that if you have people working from home, how you can help them out as an organization or as a business. We'll be doing that over the next few days. We'll also be talking about ways to effectively do that, and of course, managing your kids, because that's a big reason why a lot of us are going to be working from home over the next several weeks. So we'll have some ideas for you in that too. For Travis and Kevin, I'm Doug Jenkins with the Findlay Hancock County Chamber of Commerce.